welcome you back for another awesome night of total non-stop action. Here tonight, Eddie Edwards versus DJZ, a match to impact the World Title Series. Talking about that series, in our main event, it will be the heavyweight, Mr. Anderson and Bobby Lashley. We will talk about that series later on. Let's kick off tonight's action. We open up with your TNA X Division Championship bout of the evening.
Your opening contest on TNA Impact is scheduled for one fall and is for the TNA X Division Championship. Introducing first, the challenger, Manic. And his opponent, from Tijuana, Mexico, your X Division champion, Tigre Uno.
TNA Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling about to kick off the evening's proceedings. You do not want to miss this incredible bout. We are live here in Orlando. In the green and black, you see the champion Tigre Uno fighting out of Tijuana, Mexico. In the black, and tonight, interestingly enough, not with the mask, you see Maniker. Hell, maybe you see TJ Perkins. Last week in that main event, it was Bobby Roode going one-on-one with the Tennessee Cowboy James Storm. James Storm losing that bout. As a result, James Storm is gone from TNA as we saw Tigre Uno miss that Enziguri. That also means that the Revolution, that faction, that stable that was helmed by James Storm is no more, and now Manic is a free man. Let's talk a little bit about TJ Perkins. Let's talk a little bit about the man many call Manic, the man many used to call Suicide, and let's also talk about Tigre Uno. When we talk about Manic, we can go all the way back to Victory Road. It was that night, in the very first ever 3-hour pay-per-view that TNA put on in the opening match, that we saw Manic, that we saw TJ Perkins compete as Puma. When we talk about Tigre Uno, we're talking about a man trained in Tijuana, Mexico by the legend Rey Mysterio. Not Rey Mysterio Jr., I'm talking about Rey Mysterio Sr., Tigre Uno. In 2011, in Lucha Libre AAA, was the Rey de Reyes champion, the King of Kings for AAA, as we see that Jujigatami, that move so many wrongfully call a cross arm breaker. Tigre Uno, also a two-time Lucha Libre AAA Cruiserweight champion. Irish whip that time to the corner, patella dropkick from the champion. Steps through into the single-leg Boston Crab as referee Earl Hebner looks on. As always, it is your host, your man in the booth, calling the action. It is Arachnid Soul. Manic now. Shades of Super Colo, Super Astro with the head scissors. Powerbomb whip. Lateral press that time. Hook the far leg does the champion, only gets a 2 count. Manic, no slouch, a former X Division champion himself. Muay Thai style roundhouse kick, steps through Mahistral cradle. Only a 2 count on the champion. I thought that was it. You can't get much closer without hearing the closing bell. Hooks the arm, drops down Shades of Nova. And let's see if Tigre Uno can capitalize. Follows up that time with the DDT. Fans, we do it every week. As we see Le Quebrador Conilo, the Tilt-A-Whirl flying head scissors from the champion who celebrates. Tigre Uno off the top, corkscrew senton missed. Now we see the figure 4 deathlock, a move that Manic used years ago under the other mask I talked about as Puma. We do it every week. It is right here. TNA, Total Non-Stop Action Wrestling, powerbomb that time, stacked his man for a 2 count. If this is not enough action for you, Asai Moonsault! If this is not enough action for you, you're going to want to check out our sister program. It is TNA Explosion. It is me in the booth calling exclusive matches that you're only going to see one place. It is over at the Bingo Hall of YouTube. The champion now, perched up top. Manic snaps off that top turnbuckle Frankenstein. I'm not calling that a Hurricane Rana. Hits the ropes that time, does Manic. Spinning leg lariat to the back of the dome of the champion. Manic all over the champion here tonight. Manic looking to walk out with the X Division champion. Bipasso that time. Crotches his man up top. Manic now. What the hell was that? Came from behind, snaps off another Frankensteiner. Drop kick to the back of the skull. Champion now with the Magistral cradle of his own. Only got a 2 that time with a little bit of change. Tigre Uno once again with the power bomb. Looking to follow it up, looking to capitalize. Waist lock, full Nelson into the bridging dragon. Referee in position and a 2.9 that time. How many times here tonight have we thought that the match was over? How many times here tonight have we seen the close falls? Tigre Uno, let's lay out. Tornado DDT out of the corner. Tigre Uno back up top. There's the corkscrew senton. Could not get the cover that time, but does follow up once again with another DDT. Irish whip. And that time, it was just a matter of not having the space that he wanted. Roundhouse kick that time to the gut. Drops the challenger. Tigre Uno. Backflips off the top turnbuckle. Super kick that time. The champion heads up top. Will this be it? Saber-tooth splash. No, and a 2.9. That is the signature move. That is the finishing move of the champion. I cannot believe Manic kicked out. Looking for that double overhook gutbuster, couldn't get it. Camel clutch now from the champion. Tigre Uno breaks the hold. Tigre Uno now goes for the ride brainbuster that time. Will we have a new champion? Once again, a drop kick to the back of the skull. Lateral press this time from TJ Perkins. 2.9 that time. And once again, how many close calls? How many 2.9s have we seen tonight? We just saw that Enziguri. Waistlock over the top, spins around. There's a Hurricane Rana. 2. Tigre Uno gets the Duke here tonight on TNA Impact. What an awesome X Division encounter that was. As you know, the TNA Championship has been vacant now for damn near a month, and we would like to introduce the TNA World Title Series and present to you Round 1. Round 1 consists of 4 matches with 5 winners who will advance to Round 2. The first match, a Knockouts Gauntlet Battle Royal, 1 advances. The second match, 2 versus 2 tag team action, 2 advance. The third match will be a 3-way dance with 1 advancing, and the fourth match will be a 5-way, no disqualification, anything goes monsters brawl. And right now, we would like to announce the first match in the series that will take place here on Impact next week. No gender divides here in TNA Wrestling. It will be a 4-way Knockouts Gauntlet Battle Royal. One of these knockouts will advance to Round 2 of the World Title Series. Don't miss it. Now this is going to be interesting, and we're going to talk about the stipulations a little bit later on in the match.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first, from Ibiza, DJZ!
I don't think we've had a match this week or last week where the stakes are this high.
And his opponent from Boston, Mass, one half of your TNA World Tag Team Champion, representing the Wolves, Eddie Edwards!
Can Edwards be as good tonight in singles action as he usually is in tag action? Before we get into tonight's proceedings with this match, let's talk about what's on the line here. We talked a little bit about how in that World Title Series that's starting next week, we are going to see a tag team match where the 2 winners advance. I can already tell you that match is taking place next week. I can already tell you that one of the teams, as we see that Kesa Gatami in that World Title Series tag team match next week, will be the Wolves, will be Davey Richards and Eddie Edwards, your TNA World Tag Team Champions. What I cannot tell you is who their opponents will be. Now listen to this. If DJZ is successful, moonsault press, if DJZ is successful here tonight, then next week it will be the Wolves taking on DJZ, and a mystery partner of DJZ's choosing hits the ropes that time. Basement dropkick to the skull of Eddie Edwards. Now not only will that match be a match in the TNA World Title Series, but the TNA World Tag Team Championships will also be on the line. DJZ and Eddie Edwards continue to battle here. Front face lock. DJZ floats through. Ate the back elbow. There's the Achilles lock. That is a move that Eddie Edwards has used not only in TNA, but all over the independent scene to win championships. DJZ now taking a little bit of a breather. Not really liking the way things are playing out so far. Hits the ropes. Comes back that time. Missed with that high heel. Missed with that leg lariat. And when we talk about Eddie Edwards, when we talk about a man nicknamed Die Hard, what is this going to be? Missed whatever that was going to be that time. Hurricane Rana hooks both legs. 1 count only, says referee Brian Hebner. When we talk about Die Hard Eddie Edwards, we got to talk about a man who's been part of the Wolves, or as some would call them, the American Wolves, since the latter part of year 2008. Eddie Edwards is the first ever Ring of Honor, the first ever ROH Triple Crown champion. He was the first ROH TV champion. He was a 2-time Ring of Honor World Tag Team champion with partner Davey Richards. And he was also a 1-time Ring of Honor World Champion. Do not underestimate, as we see that European uppercut, the man they call Die Hard out of Boston, Massachusetts, Eddie Edwards. There we see the Romero Especial, the Rito Romero special with the chin lock. Edwards able to break out. Once again into the Kesagatami. Eddie Edwards will out-wrestle DJZ on the mat. DJZ, if he can take this to the air, will outfly Eddie Edwards. And when we talk about DJZ, we gotta talk about another man who's a former X Division champion. Purchases man up top and snaps off that top turnbuckle Frankensteiner. Follows up with that lateral press. Shades of the big bad booty daddy, Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner. Irish whip that time to the far turnbuckle. And now DJZ crouching his man on the Falcon's Nest. Off the back, avalanche prawn hold. Only got a 2 count. How the hell did DJZ not get a 3 count with that? How the hell did Eddie Edwards kick out? Tilt-a-whirl flying head scissors that time. From the DJ, from Ibiza. DJZ also not only a full-time wrestler, what the hell is this? Modified Blue Thunder driver out of the torture rack. DJZ not only a pro wrestler, but also a professional DJ. DJ's under the name DJ Foreign Objects all over the country. Inverted Fujiwara armbar driver that time. Let's talk about DJZ while we've got some time. Let's go all the way back to Destination X a couple of years ago as we saw that rope break. DJZ did not have a contract here in TNA. He had a match at Destination X. It was against, listen to this, Austin Aries, Jack Evans, and Low Ki. Many regard that match as the finest professional wrestling match of the year, one of the greatest matches of all time. DJZ did not win that match and did not get an immediate contract, but it was the fans that night chanting, wait a minute, Frankensteiner, great pop-up variation. It was the fans that night chanting, sign them all, meaning sign all of those wrestlers that 1 month after the pay-per-view made TNA President Dixie Carter sign DJZ, then known as Zima Ion German Suplex, and only a 2 count to a TNA contract. The stakes, like I said earlier, I don't think have ever been higher for a match here on Impact. This being our 2nd week. Double springboard crossbody that time. And Eddie Edwards now into that Nagata lock, that inverted armbar. Great move that time. Eddie Edwards paintbrushed the move and then followed up with the round submission. Went right back to what he knows. Now fans here in TNA, as we see another head scissors, fans here in TNA might look at Eddie Edwards as a guy who's only good in a tag team setting. Counters the powerbomb, stacks his man, folding press, no, 2 count only. But like I said, Eddie Edwards before 2008 was a tremendous singles wrestler. Hell, Eddie Edwards after 2008 was a tremendous singles wrestler. DJZ hits the 450, that is his finisher. And only a 2 count. Eddie Edwards somehow managed to kick out. That's why they call him Die Hard. Comes through with a hooking lariat. Shades of the late great Macho Man Randy Savage. Full Nelson release suplex that time. Shades of Kenta Kobashi. And now the Fujiwara armbar. Shades of Masakazu Funaki. Eddie Edwards boot that time. Buzzsaw kick, did you hear that thing? Almost like his tag team partner, Davey Richards. And now Eddie Edwards going after the legs of DJZ. Like I said, Eddie Edwards does not want DJZ flying around here tonight. Both of these men back up to their vertical base. Hammerlock throw to the corner. Wait a minute, cradle that time. What the hell is that? 2? DJZ gets the Duke. How the hell did he pull that move up? I'm not sure what that pin was. I'm not sure if Eddie Edwards is sure what that pin was. Next week, DJZ and a mystery partner for the tag titles? And once again, the World Title Series Gauntlet Battle Royal. It will be the Knockouts in action next week. And as we just saw, even to my amazement, hell, I gotta be honest, next week, World Title Series and TNA Tag Team Gold on the line. The Wolves, Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards, take on DJZ and a mystery partner.
Main event of the evening. Introducing first, weighing in at 235 1/4 pounds, he hails from Green Bay, Wisconsin, Mr. Anderson! Anderson! And his opponent, weighing 265 pounds, fighting out of Denver, Colorado, the Destroyer, Bobby Lashley!
This is going to be such a juxtaposition to the X Division action we've seen earlier here tonight. 2 heavyweights. You hear that opening bell. As always, it is your host, Arachnid Soul, the best damn pro wrestling commentator in the business. Here to call tonight's main event. TNA Total Non-Stop Action. It is the Destroyer Bobby Lashley going one-on-one with Mr. Ken Anderson. Anderson, we saw that forearm shiver. High crotch that time, scooping a slam, lateral press, not even a 1 count, according to referee Earl Hebner. There's an early spear from Bobby Lashley. The Destroyer not getting paid by the hour. Irish whip once again, and a knee from Mr. Anderson. Lateral press of his own, only got a 1 count. Spins through, swinging neck breaker. Now let's talk about this match. There's some confusion. Nicely done, deep arm drag, shades of Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. This is a World Title Series preview match. The ground and pound, the forearm shivers from Mr. Anderson. This is not a World Title Series match. It is a preview. We do know that at some point in the tournament, at some point in the series, as we see that single leg Boston Crab, that these 2 heavyweights will swap hands. We do know that these 2 will meet up at some point in the ranks of that tournament. We don't know when. This is a preview. Anderson giving up about 30 pounds to Bobby Lashley. Anderson coming in just under 335 pounds as we just saw that Juji Gatami. Lashley going to the MMA training. Nice sprawl that time in a front chancery from Anderson. Elbow to the back of the skull. Side belly to back takedown. Anderson stays on his man. Lashley comes through with the southpaw shot. Hammerlock throw that time to the corner. Are you kidding me? Whoa. Bobby Lashley with the overhead belly-to-belly suplex sends Mr. Anderson, and once again a spear. This is ridiculous. Bobby Lashley, the Beast, the Destroyer, the Boss. Now into that Dragon Sleeper. Lashley, the powerhouse. But will we see the speed? Will we see the agility? Will we see the experience of Ken Anderson be the deciding factor here tonight? Fall-away slam, the SOS. And Lashley now back in control. Rear naked choke, and once again into that Dragon Sleeper. Both of these men served in the United States Army, and also both of these men are former two-time TNA World Heavyweight Champions. What the hell is this? Lashley sits out that time with the Dominator. Pulls Mr. Anderson away from the ropes, hooks the leg on the lateral press. Two and some change. Ken Anderson able to kick out. Both of these heavyweights would love, God, did you hear that shot? Both of these heavyweights would love release German suplex to walk out of this tournament. Lateral press. And another kick out with that TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Back body drop that time from Ken Anderson. Waist lock, lifts his man up. There's the atomic drop. Let's talk a little bit about Ken Anderson's career here in TNA. Was in TNA years ago, wrestled on Explosion, and wasn't really signed to a contract. Very underrated in this sport. There we see that mic check, the trademark move of Mr. Anderson, and once again the single leg grab. Ken Anderson, very underrated in this sport. Went to the indie scene, went to the indie circuit, made a name for himself as we see that Green Bay plunge. Lateral press, this will be it. 2.9! The Destroyer able to kick out. High crotch that time on the T-Bone suplex, aka the Exploder. And it was so nice that Bobby Lashley just did it twice. Lashley staying on his man. High crotch that time, shades of Davey Boy Smith, the running power slam. Lashley dominating his opponent, pulls him back to center ring. Lashley in the corner, there's the spear, and no, it was paintbrushed away by Mr. Anderson. Anderson Irish whipped, there's the spear from Lashley. If Lashley can top his man, and he does, that will be it. No! Somehow, Bobby Lashley, who just ate another mic check, did not get a 3 count with his spear. Mr. Anderson fighting through, Bobby Lashley floats through. Standing RNC once again into that modified stretch plum we call the Dragon Sleeper. What an amazing encounter we are having tonight in our main event from these two heavyweights. The combination that time from Ken Anderson. Waist lock, back elbow that time. Bobby Lashley now sets and stuffs his man. Once again, a Dominator. And I think Bobby Lashley was looking for another spear, but Ken Anderson got up. Power slam. Second time we've seen it here tonight. Fans, we have this action for you right here every week. Do not miss it. Spread the word. Irish whip that time. Lashley drops down, hits the ropes, comes back. There's a spear. That will be it. Lateral press. Hebner in position. Lashley gets the Duke here tonight on TNA Impact Wrestling. And fans, we have to remind you, it is next week. It is not one, but two awesome World Title Series matches. Do not miss it. As always, it has been your host, Arachnid Salt, in the booth, signing off. Thank you, and good night.